Hey there, fellow people of YouTubes. Bentley TV here, recording another video, and hopefully this one actually doesn't have as much background noise, and hopefully you can actually see the gameplay. I figured I'd play a bit more of World of Warcraft on a different tune since you didn't get to see the gameplay from the last video. Let me just zoom out a bit so I could see all the pretty graphics and stuff. Well, pretty graphics is an opinion, I suppose, but I decided that the next few videos are gonna be a series thing where I record on certain topics that are related to one another. The overall topic's gonna be the gaming industry within itself, having to do with their practices and certain business models and things of the sort. So I am going to start this off today with talking about pay-to-play games, because obviously World of Warcraft and Blizzard, and they've gotten kind of away from that kind of thing in more recent times. But I mean, the biggest moneymaker is World of Warcraft. Well, where to start with pay-to-play? I mean, in more recent times, pay-to-play has gone down. There was WildStar that came out pay-to-play. They are now switching over to a free-to-play model. Elder Scrolls Online came out with a sub-based business model as well. They are now a buy-to-play. I mean, even some games that can't come out on buy-to-play end up going free-to-play eventually. Just because, like, there's so many more games nowadays that are going free to play. How do you compete with something that's free to play, really and honestly? Who wants to spend $10 a month just to be even able to play the game when you could play the game for free and just buy little cosmetics and things like that? Part of the only reason that World of Warcraft has been able to stay free to play is because it has such a huge following, first of all, with all the lore and everything that was and fans that have followed over from all the Warcraft series, Warcraft 3 and everything. I remember I was playing Warcraft 3 when I was in like end of elementary school, beginning of middle school. But it's not just that, it's also the fact that some people have played it for so long that they have put so much time and money and effort into this game. And there's also the fact of the nostalgia, and they want to get that they've it's like it's kind of like when you watch a cartoon or a movie you haven't seen since you were like little, or that you used to watch a lot when you were little, and you see it again. That kind of a thing, where it's the feeling of nostalgia, and you get those memories flowing through your mind again, and you remember those friends that you used to watch it with, or that you used to hang out with around the time that you'd watch it and stuff like that. Well, it's the same thing with World of Warcraft. I mean, you start playing it again, and then you get those feelings of nostalgia. Remember how old you were when you first started playing, and you remember all those memories at the beginning, all the adventures you'd have, finding out this and that. And the people you used to play with. And like, it's just people play trying to get that feeling back, and because of those memories that are attached to the game itself more than anything. So that's part of another reason why World of Warcraft keeps on being able to keep the sub base business model, because people are hard pressed to leave the game because of all the nostalgia and the memories and the time and the money put into it. But it's also a hope thing. People are hoping that it will go back to how it used to be, how good the content was before. Um, but another reason why other businesses can't keep a pay-to-play model while World of Warcraft can is because they don't have the proper lore and the following that Warcraft had when it came out with the MMO with the pay-to-play subscription model and all of that. These other games are coming out of the gate not really supported by any lore or backstory or anything really, and they don't really have much of a following other than the people that are following the game before release. It's not like they have the millions of people that played when they were younger or anything like that. And these games that come out like that, they expect to be able to keep the pay-to-play subscription model for some reason. And it's like, why would people be willing to pay that when there's other MMOs that are pretty much the same copy paste as you with a different skin? I mean, yeah, WildStar had a different gameplay model, but I mean, it was more difficult, and honestly, in this day and age, games have become easier to play, more casual friendly, not more hardcore, so gamers nowadays have become more accustomed to that. So of course, if you put the fact that people aren't accustomed to the hardcore gameplay mechanics and the fact that you don't really have much of a following, and lastly that, like, why should people be putting, like, even care about the game when they don't have any history with it? Like, it's a model that's not made to succeed at this point in gaming, at least. Like, if people were releasing these kinds of games back when the gaming community was younger in like early 2000s, people were more willing to try things because, oh look, it's something new. Nowadays, MMOs aren't anything new, especially with tab targeting based combat like Elder Scrolls Online has. And don't get me wrong, Elder Scrolls Online is a good game. I have it. I ended up pre-ordering it. I tried it out before release, and that's a whole nother issue though that I will get to later on about the quality of games upon release. But the point is that pay-to-play games they're not made for today's gaming community at all, because there is the fact that there's not a history with the game or the content or the world they're trying to get you into between the gamer and the actual game itself. There is no history there. There's the fact that some games are coming out and they're trying to be hardcore when games nowadays are honestly just becoming more casual friendly. There's the fact that there are so many other free-to-play MMOs out there that have tab targeting. Why am I going to pay to play this one? I am personally not the biggest fan of pay to play, but World of Warcraft has been out for so long and has so much content compared to any free-to-play game that they can kind of almost say that it's worth it and give a reason behind it besides the lore and this nostalgia and everything that I mentioned earlier. So that is one of the only reasons that I honestly am willing to pay to play World of Warcraft, is actually the amount of content and the people that I end up meeting playing World of Warcraft. I actually make some friends playing, and I was the main tank for a guild at one point back in Mist of Pandaria. But with Warlords, quite a few of the people that were in the guild ended up leaving. And Warlords just wasn't made for the social aspects of the MMO, which is kind of counterintuitive of the game because it is an MMO. But we'll get onto all those other things at another time. Right now we're just covering pay-to-play games. I mean, even Dota 1, the first Dota game that came out was buy-to-play. Dota 2 came out free-to-play. What else was there? Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars were just buy-to-play. So with all these other business models and free-to-play models littering the marketplace, how do you really argue that a pay-to-play model is reasonable? Because in my opinion, other than the amount of content that World of Warcraft has, there's no real good enough reason to go pay-to-play or have a pay-to-play model at all. And games that are coming out aren't going to have that amount of content right away. They just can't manage it. It's not realistic to expect that. But to have a little recap on the overall points of this video, World of Warcraft is able to go free to keep a pay-to-play model, mostly because of the nostalgia, the amount of money, energy, and time people have put into it, and the amount of content. Other games are lacking all of these, so I don't agree with any of them being able to have a pay-to-play model. And on top of that, some of these games are coming out that are trying to be more hardcore, that are coming out pay-to-play, just don't understand that games nowadays are becoming more casual friendly because an everyday person's life is busier nowadays on average than it used to be. And people just don't want hardcore anymore like they did back in 2000, 2001. So if you're coming out with a game that is more hardcore friendly, it is counterintuitive and to your business to be more hardcore friendly. And then those were really my main points, because I just wanted to really cover the pay-to-play model and why World of Warcraft is able to hold theirs compared to the free-to-play model, Which, I mean, free to play is also got their good points, but I will cover that in another video. I just wanted to really cover the pay to play aspects in this one, and I'll cover free to play in my next video. And then the one after that, I think I will be covering the quality of games today and compared to how they used to be and the amount of content in them upon release and later on down the road. So those should be my next two videos. Besides that, I don't really have much else to talk about. So this is Bentley TV. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please remember to leave a like and a comment if you liked the video or if you have any feedback. And even if you didn't like the video, then give it a thumbs down and tell me